A Christmas Carol. Outside, a gentle winter snow was falling, and the whole town was filled with the spirit of Christmas. Lights glowed in the windows, people were smiling, and the streets smelled of sweet pastries. It was a time when the world was meant to be full of warmth and kindness. Only one person wasn't happy. Mr. Scrooge. He sat in his dark, cold office, muttering to himself. Christmas! A time for wasting money and being bothered, he grumbled. Just then his cheerful nephew Fred came in. Merry Christmas, Uncle! He called out joyfully. Scrooge frowned and huffed. Merry? And what's so merry about Christmas? Just a waste of time and money. I came to invite you to dinner, Uncle. Come to our place tonight. We'll all be together, Fred said. But Scrooge only frowned even more. Christmas? Nonsense. A waste of time. Fred bowed slightly. Even so, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, Uncle. And he left. The office fell silent. The air grew colder. Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's clerk, sat in the corner warming his hands over a tiny candle. He dared to speak softly. Mr. Scrooge, tomorrow is Christmas. Could I have a day off, so I can be with my family? Scrooge rolled his eyes. A day off? Just an excuse to do nothing. But have it your way then, only because it's tradition. But be here even earlier the day after. Bob smiled. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. When Scrooge was walking home from the office, the city had already grown quiet. The snow crunched softly beneath his feet, and the lantern lights shimmered in the frozen puddles. Scrooge unlocked the door of his old house and stepped inside. Everything was dark, cold, and empty, exactly the way he liked it. Suddenly, a sound echoed through the house. At first very faint, like a distant metallic clinking. The sound drew nearer, as if someone were dragging long chains. The door flew open, and in stepped the ghost of Scrooge's former partner, Marley, who had died several years ago. His body was transparent, wrapped in heavy iron chains. On the chains hung cash boxes, account books, and keys, everything he had valued for too much during his life. Scrooge cried out, Marley! But that's impossible! The ghost spoke in a sad, deep voice. Yes, Scrooge, it's me. I've come to warn you, my friend. Because of my greed, I must carry these chains, and yours will be even longer if you don't change your life. Scrooge trembled, though he tried to appear brave. Why have you come to me? Because you still have a chance, the ghost replied. You can still open your heart. Then he added, Tonight, 3 spirits will visit you. That's madness, Scrooge rasped. Marley's ghost lifted his hand. Without their help, Your heart will never change." And then the ghost slowly faded away. The room fell silent. Only the candle flickered softly. Scrooge sighed and lay down immediately, convinced that everything had just been a strange dream. When the clock on the tower struck 1, Scrooge opened his eyes. At the foot of his bed stood a figure. "Are you a spirit?" Scrooge asked in surprise. The figure nodded. "I am the ghost of Christmas past. I have come so you may see what you have forgotten. Come with me." The ghost of Christmas past led him into a small cozy room where stood a young woman, Bella. She had once been his great love. The young Scrooge sat at a table, writing numbers into a ledger. "Scrooge," she said softly, "you are changing more and more." "I must work," he replied. "Without money, we can't have a secure future." Bella shook her head. "You are no longer seeking security, my dear. You love money more than anyone else. There is no longer a place for me in your heart," she whispered, "and so I must let you go." She slowly walked away. The young Scrooge remained sitting with empty hands, and the old Scrooge, watching this scene, felt a sharp pang deep in his heart. The ghost of Christmas past disappeared, and suddenly another tall figure appeared before Scrooge. "I am the ghost of Christmas present," he said kindly. The spirit touched Scrooge's hand, and in an instant they were standing in a modest but cozy home of Bob Cratchit's family. In the small room, the whole family sat together. On the table was a simple goose, yet everyone looked at it with such joy as if it were a royal feast. Bob Cratchit helped his son Tim settle into his chair. The little boy leaned on his crutch, but a true happiness shone in his eyes. Scrooge watched the scene in wonder. There wasn't much wealth, but there was so much love, and that was more precious than gold. "Spirit," Scrooge whispered, "tell me, will this boy be all right?" The spirit did not answer immediately. He gazed at Tim with a gentle sadness. "If things do not change," he said finally, "it is possible that next Christmas he will not be here, and his place will remain empty." Scrooge shivered. For the first time in his life, he felt that he truly cared for someone. When the ghost of Christmas present disappeared, a figure cloaked in a long dark robe appeared before Scrooge. "You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come?" Scrooge asked timidly. The figure only nodded slightly. Then it raised a hand and pointed forward. The streets of the city appeared. People spoke in whispers, as if they did not want anyone to hear them. Scrooge listened closely. "The old miser! Has he died?" "Yes, but no one will miss him." Scrooge froze. "Spirit, are they talking about me?" The figure did not answer. It only extended his hand again. Then Scrooge found himself back at the Cratchits' home, but this time the room was silent. Bob Cratchit sat by a chair, an empty chair. Scrooge looked at the spirit. "No, please, tell me, this isn't true. Tell me there is still time." The spirit did not move, only its hand pointed toward another shadow. Finally, Scrooge stood in a small graveyard. Everything was quiet. The spirit pointed to a low, unadorned tombstone. Scrooge stepped closer, and when he saw the name, his legs gave way. He fell to his knees. "Spirit, if I change my life, if I open my heart, can this future be different? Please, I don't want my story to end like this." In that moment, the vision faded, and with a cry Scrooge awoke in his own bed. "Today is Christmas," he exclaimed with a smile, "and I have a chance to start anew." He quickly jumped out of bed, got dressed, and ran out into the street. Scrooge decided that this day would no longer be gloomy and lonely. He first went to the Cratchit family. "Bob, today is Christmas, and I want to help your family. Tim will have everything he needs to be healthy and happy." And the little Tim, thanks to Scrooge's care and his family's love, recovered and was able to happily enjoy many more Christmases with them. Bob Cratchit was happy, and for the first time Scrooge noticed how small acts of kindness could bring great joy. Scrooge continued on and visited his nephew Fred. "Merry Christmas, Fred!" Scrooge smiled and hugged him. "Merry Christmas, Uncle!" Fred exclaimed. And so Scrooge learned a very important lesson. Christmas is not about how many things we have. It is about love, kindness, and the joy we can share with others. From that day on, Scrooge was never grumpy again, and so his Christmases became truly magical and happy, just as they are meant to be. Friends, remember, you too can bring joy to someone every day. A small smile, a helping hand, or a kind word can brighten someone's day and light up your own heart as well. Merry Christmas from your Panda Millie.